Hello, church. My name is Dale Medium Baskerville, and I want to share with you the history of some not so well known LGBTQ Black History figures. So get on board. Lucy Hicks Anderson lived as a woman in Oxnard, California from 1920 until 1945, when it was discovered that she was a biological male. Today, she might be described as a transgender person. But that term did not exist during her lifetime. She insisted publicly that a person could appear to be of one sex, but actually belong to another. In 1944, she married Reuben Anderson, a soldier at Mitchell Field on Long Island, New York. Lucy had received allotment checks as the wife of a member of the U.S. Army. The federal government prosecuted both Reuben Anderson and Lucy Hicks Anderson for fraud in 1946. Both were found guilty and sentenced to prison. After her release from prison, Anderson tried to return to Oxnard, but the local police chief told her to leave town or risk persecution. She lived the remainder of her life in Los Angeles. Anderson died in 1954 at the age of 68. Patrisse Cullors, writer, activist, and artist, is most well known as one of the three founders of the Black Lives Matter movement. Cullors was born in 1984 in Los Angeles, California, and grew up in San Fernando Valley. Her mother raised Cullors and her siblings as a single parent. At the age of 16, Cullors revealed her queer identity to her family and moved away to Los Angeles. The Black Lives Matter movement was inspired by the February 26, 2012 fatal shooting of an unarmed black teenager by the name of Trayvon Martin by a neighborhood security guard named George Zimmerman in Sanford, Florida. Cullors also wrote the social media hashtag #BlackLivesMatter to promote the new organization. The Black Lives Matter movement works to end violence against African Americans as well as poverty and mass incarceration, which contributes to violence. Cullors is especially passionate about fighting for the rights of the Black queer community. Lee Lewis Daniels, an American actor, film director, and director. Lee Lewis Daniels was born on December 24, 1959. The oldest child born to Williams and Clara Daniels. He and his four siblings were reared in West Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Daniels began his Hollywood career as a production assistant and then later a casting director. Frustrated by the lack of meaningful roles for African American actors, he founded Lee Daniels Entertainment in 2004. His clientele grew to include notables such as Cuban Gooding and Morgan Freeman, and eventually non-black actors. Daniels was the first African American to solely produce an Academic Award nominated film. Daniels' most acclaimed film to date is the 2009 Precious, based on the novel Push by Sapphire, which received 6 Academy Award nominations and included Best Picture and Best Director. Sherry D. Harris. In 1991, Sherry D. Harris was the first out black lesbian elected to public office in the United States. This also gave her the distinction of being the first African American woman on the Seattle City Council in Washington State. Harris was born on February 27, 1957 in Newark, New Jersey. Harris received a Bachelor's of Science degree in Human Factor Engineering, Ergonomic Engineering, from New Jersey Institute of Technology in 1978. She moved to Seattle shortly thereafter. In 1991, Harris ran for political office in Seattle. She became the first candidate endorsed by the newly found Gay and Lesbian Victory Fund, a national organization supporting LGBTQ political figures. By a 70% margin, Harris defeated the 24-year incumbent Sam Smith, who had been the first African American elected to the Seattle City Council. She served as an at-large city council member from 1992 to 1995. Ron Oden is the first African American and the first openly gay man to hold the office of mayor of Palm Springs, California. Born on March 21st, 1950, in Detroit, Michigan, Oden attended Oakwood College in Huntsville, Alabama, where he received a Bachelor of Arts in History, Sociology, and Theology. He also completed Masters of Arts degree in Family Life, Counseling, Theology, and Ethnic Studies. Oden, who served as mayor until 2007, brought international recognition to the city of Palm Springs as a top destination resort. During his term, the city budget doubled as it experienced more growth than in its entire history. In recognition of his success as a humanitarian and a civic leader, Oden was honored with the 300th Gold Star on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars in December 2007. Ron Oden lives in Palm Springs and continues to work in the public sector. The train continues to pick up freedom riders to secure the future. Today, we honor 5 LGBTQ Black History personnel who were not always well known, but did their part to make our lives better. We thank you for paving the way, and so others may live a better life.